Joe Rogan is crazy.
Well,
Hold on.
I can hear myself.
Did you just cough in here?
What the? Oh, of course, something's wrong with this thing. I can only hear out of one side.
You got that Rona?
That's supposed to be like this? What you doing? Don't touch nothing. Nope. You're done.
No.
You're done.
No. Hold on here.
I don't know. I can only hear out of one side. Is that supposed to be like that?
No, I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Oh,
There it goes. There it goes.
There we go.
Yep. I told you, don't touch nothing. See, I had to fix it.
You did it. You did that.
Well,
Yeah.
gentlemen and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna see I'm gonna fucking drink this fucking thing. We're 53 seconds in, gentlemen. Welcome to episode 28, I believe, of the SquadKast motherfucking podcast. What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
Brother
DJ, the mask. I think it just don't. Boo. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Listen here, man. Listen here.
I look like Scorpion from Mortal
Right.
Kombat.
You see what's happening? Things are getting worse. It's gotten me on edge. We in this bitch sweating. We got masks on. COVID-19's back like it never left. Ironically, it did not.
It never left, and what can we say?
Yet here we are.
Here we are again. The outbreak is happening,
Fighting the good fight.
Just trying to do our best.
Excuse me.
We doing this shit for y'all.
There he is, brother. There. Excuse me, man. My bad. I didn't have you right.
Brother Black is here.
Brother Black, how you doing?
Brother Black is here.
Yes, I'm in the building. It's great to be back.
He's in the building.
All right. Well, where do we start? So much has happened in the last week alone.
Oh my goodness.
Nationally, locally, personally.
I think we got to start locally, bro.
Okay.
To keep it real.
Well, first and foremost, then maybe we talk about a young man who lost his life here over a week in Sir Williams. This gentleman was gunned down at a local bar / nightclub or whatever you want to call it here in Des Moines.
Yep.
Unnecessarily, obviously. This gentleman knew quite a few people across the city. He was running his own catering business, amongst other things that I'm not, going to pretend to know all the ins and outs of. I didn't know him personally, but still a tragic loss nonetheless.
Most definitely. I had the privilege to, coming across him a few times. The few times I did go out and in the city to try to have a good time, and it was just a mutual respect that we had, man. He knew of me, knew me, and I knew the same. And when I came across him, he, what up, G? He was, high-fiving and all that, you know what I'm saying? Some good to have you around type shit. And it was very sad, man, to actually wake up and see that news, you know what I mean? Like right. Him of all people, you know what I mean? Like you said, he definitely was doing his catering. He was a chef. He went to Minneapolis for a while, was doing catering and chefing there.
Well on his way.
Came back here, was doing Club 525, hosting parties and doing a whole bunch of other things. Really was trying to make the party scene, entertainment scene here live for us, right. And once again, gun violence at its best, man. It's fucking crazy, man. Rest in peace to that young brother, because he was young. He wasn't even 30.
Definitely.
Very
sad to see the young man lose his life to gun violence, especially here in Des Moines. And like we saying, all the things he had going on. Hell, like Capo said, as far as with his journey, you seen like as far as him catering out his crib when he first started, to owning his own restaurant, to leaving left for a while and went to Minnesota, I want to say, and went to.
He was in Minneapolis.
He was a chef out there for
at the Gold Room.
At the Gold Room. Came back and started doing, a couple different businesses. So just working. So I admired his work ethic, just seeing where he came from to where he was now. So yeah, it's just very sad to see that happen to him.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, brother, because I remember, like, he used to work at the same financial institution that we was at.
Oh yeah.
And that brother quit that job to pursue his dream of being a full-time chef. and was succeeding.
Right.
You know,
Had a reputation.
Not very many of us can actually leave the corporate world or whatever job that's paying us whatever to do something that we love.
Right.
You know, and still be able to financially succeed and be able to take care of yourself and you know, in his regard, his son and, you know, family and things of that nature. So, like I said, in regards to what Brother Black was saying, like, I just seen him from the beginning, the progression, like he said, selling the dinners out of his house or wherever house he was at to running the show.
You know what I'm saying? He had his restaurant over there on the east side.
Yeah, he did have his restaurant, Sir's Kitchen.
Checked out the kitchen a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Chopped it up with him, let him know, you know what I'm saying? I support what he do. Loved everything, most of his food up in there, you know what I'm saying? He did his thing. And like I say, just to see everything he was trying to do and then that bullshit happened, it had me really PO'd to see that morning when I woke up. So yeah, it was definitely
exactly
right. And as you pointed out, brother DJ, they caught who did it, and hopefully justice will be served in that regard. But yeah, it's just more unnecessary violence. And what a time for something like that to happen, anyways. When the community's supposed to be coming together and figuring out the next step and you know, moving us forward in a positive direction. Something like this happens. So
right in the heart of our civil rights movement. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you said, we're supposed to be coming together. Everybody's been promoting this unity, and I've never seen us really come together so much until really now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and then all of a sudden this kind of goes. And I was telling Brother Black this kind of goes into the white agenda, the white paradigm, how they always say, well, you guys need to stop killing yourself first before we can.
We know that shit.
I'm just saying, bro.
I mean, I'm not attacking you.
No,
I guess I'm attacking their argument.
Right. I mean, and then, like I said, like, this just falls into their hands while we're out here trying to make change, make peace, get things for our community, and then we still have end struggles like this going on.
I definitely understand where you're coming from with that, but I feel like that's the white man's way to deflect all they bullshit that they've been doing all along just to try and focus on black crime. Fuck out of here.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. They're gonna always fall back on that, but I'm just saying, like, at the peak when we are actually doing shit, now we have this to take that down, and it gives credibility to them.
And that's
and
why
we brought that up last week.
Off, like, I was real, like I said, when I found out about Sir, and I'm just like, my whole argument was, how the fuck can we just be doing all this protesting and motherfuckers doing all this protesting, Black Lives Matter and all this,
right?
And then this shit happened, and I don't mean to say that as to try and tarnish what their movement is and what they're doing,
right?
But we contradicting ourselves, and I know I can't. It's not good for me to put that blame on what one person's actions
right,
on the whole movement. But like I've been saying in all the other podcasts, we gotta work on each other and how we deal with each other as a whole before we can even be talking all this fucking uplifting and fucking rebelling shit against these motherfuckers. Because if we not together, it's gonna be fucking pointless. That's my whole argument. It's pointless if we not together. These motherfuckers gonna be able to divide us with no problem whatsoever. And just pick our ass off if we ain't together. No real solidarity.
I do caution, though, at the same time, to not be, don't get discouraged, I should say, by this type of thing that's happening. Because, I mean, obviously, these type of things are almost by design, designed to do just that, just cause a greater amount of destruction. Ultimately, that's what happens when someone gets gunned down. I mean, you're not just hurting one person; you're hurting multiple people. Clearly, exactly. I mean, the number of people. Hy-Vee Hall's going to host a funeral for him.
Yes.
Now, again, we can argue about maybe why Hy-Vee's doing that in the midst of what's going on also in the city with their own issues. Right, but still, but yeah, progress is still the name of the game, and this should be, your resolve should still be to go even harder, push this.
Is that not a testament to him, though, that they would have his services at Hy-Vee Hall that seats 4,000 people? I mean, this man literally knew everybody. I mean, look, not just in here in the city of Des Moines, Iowa. I'm talking about, like, Minneapolis. Everywhere. This man was well known everywhere. And I'm not going to sit here and say that all 4,000 seats going to be filled. Maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, and they are catering and having food and stuff like that for people to purchase, and then the proceeds from that goes to his son's trust fund that they have set up for that. So if you guys are going to go attend, you know, leave a donation or something like that. This goes for Sir William's son.
And I'll make sure to put the information up here while we're talking about it. I'll make sure I even get this done tonight, the first thing in the morning, so this goes up, and we'll put that where that's at and that type of thing. So, so I out of respect to Adam, and that's what SquadKast can do. So.
Right, exactly.
So that actually, interestingly enough, because I tried to make a note or two about something to talk about today. Like we used to do when everything was normal, you know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help thinking about what time of year it is, and this brother dying, and then furthermore George Floyd. Just to think. I mean, I can't. Every day reaffirms that George Floyd for sure was a hero with everything that's happening in this country. But it made me think about one of our early episodes. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but we brought up Crispus Attucks.
You did,
and I was totally caught off guard. Never hearing of this black man / mulatto being basically the Kickstarter for the American Revolution.
The human sacrifice for the
Right. And just ironic that here we are yet again in American history. And this black man, unbeknownst to himself, just living his life, and and not even doing anything wrong, and it literally gets gunned down by a white man, and it's starting a wave of something. It's just such an interesting paradigm. I mean, history repeats itself grotesquely in America, unfortunately. So. I hope really, this is the turning point where we actually start applying these lessons learned, and not here we are, another 200, 300 years, and another person has to get gunned down, and hopefully we're seeing this change. But I just thought it interesting how that intersects, that bit of history, and
then
here we
not
are
to
again.
mention, how about the 5 people that's not getting no news coverage they were hung off trees?
Oh, bro, yeah. That's happening in more than one place.
Any sort of news coverage whatsoever.
Shit, they still haven't even arrested the police that killed Breonna Taylor.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
still hemming and
on.
hawing about whether or not if he did the right thing.
Come on. Like, what the hell is going on here?
And I was watching Cuomo go at
Chris Cuomo.
Go at dude who handled the case for Elijah McClain.
Right. I saw what you was talking about.
That shit pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah.
This
that is
just
crazy.
Deny. I couldn't find enough evidence for this.
Yeah.
Did you know that a paramedic can inject you with ketamine if they think you're freaking out for whatever reason? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That shit is terrifying, man. Terrifying. I probably would rather be hit with a taser than injected with some drug.
What the fuck?
What gives them the okay to be able to say that
they're not doctors. They're running around with tranquilizers.
Exactly.
Gave him enough for like a man for like 250 pounds, and he weighed like 140 or something like just.
What's the gauge to say that he's
tortured him?
What's the right word? To say that he's even able or fit to be able to give you this fucking shot.
Right.
Certified.
Consent. He can't give consent. The paramedics. Right. Just it's terrifying sometimes just to think about how far we are but have not come.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, that also take me to my next question then. Independence Day.
Fuck that.
That was my question. What does, in America 2020, what does Independence Day mean to you as a black man?
All right, put your mask on. Put your mask on, and I'm going in. All right, look. Fuck Independence Day. I've always kind of felt like this for a while now. It was never really supposed to be celebrated by black people, people of color. It was never really our independence. We're not even free now, even though that's how it's perpetrated to us. I mean, like that. Look at what's going on. I mean, shit. We was in slavery for 400 or 500 years, and then before that, in Pan-Sahara slavery, and then now we got this shit going on. I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't I don't get why we would celebrate something like that. I really don't get it. And at first, as a kid, and all that, yeah, you would buy the fireworks and you want to see it and all that other stuff and whatever. But as you grow up and you learn the history, and then you see how your people just been suffering for so long, and then you're like, Independence Day, what? And I also kind of think it's weird when people like of our community also participate in St. Patrick's Day. Like what the fuck are you doing? That is an Irish man's holiday.
My last name is Bailey, brother. Clearly the legacy that led to this person here being last name Bailey.
Right, but
the treachery.
That's something different. But I'm talking about people literally go out with their green shirts on and their little Mardi Gras beads and shit and be out there in the street with the rest of these motherfuckers drinking and shit. Like I really be looking like, are y'all just looking for an excuse to get out and be? But I don't want to divert from. I don't believe we should be celebrating Independence Day. I really think we should be teaching the youth. We should be educating each other on Independence Day and stand away from that and let these Anglo-Saxons celebrate that shit, and we need to focus on ourselves and learn more about our history and continue to work on our own true independence.
Well, amen. As you are a believer in the gospel, as we all know.
Yeah, whatever.
Black, how about you, brother?
Bruh.
Don't hold back.
You more or less in the same boat, or you?
I'll just say, we've never known the history of fucking Independence Day of all that bullshit, blah blah blah. Just like the motherfucking Christopher Columbus found the world and all that shit.
Right.
But I would just say, if we were celebrating it per se or celebrating Independence Day, it was just an excuse for us, just like we said with the other holidays, for us to barbecue and hang out with the family. That's more so what it is, and that's what we gonna continue to do.
Well, not everybody, but I get what you're saying, brother.
I mean, bro, I'm not finna.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's just what it is for us for the most part. But it's not no big red, white, and blue type shit. No, I don't think that motherfuckers should be doing that. But I'm saying, in traditional black folks holidays, we always getting dressed up, suit and booty for any barbecue and shit like that. So it's just motherfuckers gotta know to not wear them motherfucking colors, because that ain't us. Other than that, I mean, shit, do what you do. If you want to celebrate it, that's on you.
But I mean, I'm gonna say that too. Like, if you want to celebrate it, that's on you. But just know why you're celebrating it, and hope that it really means that to you, and you're not just out here to be doing the same shit that everybody else is doing. Go ahead, Chefin.
Well, coincidentally, I actually used to shoot fireworks professionally for.
Oh, I think you told me about
15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a local company here in Iowa. Shout out to Jane and Displays. But I certainly got into it well before I, had any bit of consciousness about myself and the world at large. So, but I, quickly grew to understand that the Independence Day is just there, but that's not. It clearly wasn't Independence Day for everyone.
Exactly.
And to this day, I mean, no matter, the background of 4th of July is the fact that, Breonna Taylor's murderers have not been arrested. So there's the evidence, front and center. So, but that being said, I am a man. I do love explosives just as much as the next one. So, I reasoned in that I'm not there celebrating as much as I am there blowing shit up. So, you got to go through an extensive background check as well with the government to get permission to do shit like that. So that was a little daunting.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to get passed,
nice
or you got to get licensed. Hold on, let them play. So I did. That was part of the downside of it, but I'm, small sacrifice, I guess. But now Independence Day, 4th of July isn't much anything except for, like you said, just an excuse for people to get out there and do some shit. Most people, even the majority of people, really don't. Have a faith about it one way or the other. I don't think it's only the loudest who ever get any real screen time about how great America is on the 4th of July. So whoever's got the most money, the biggest displays, what have you. So
yeah.
But like you said, you want to get out there celebrate, I definitely ain't gonna stop you. And they used to pay me to help you celebrate it. So get a little cash, I guess.
If you want to get your National Lampoons on, go right ahead.
Boom,
More power to you.
boom.
You know what I mean? But
You'd be surprised at how many people don't want to do that though. That's why I stopped doing it. Actually, nobody wanted. It's kind of dangerous, I guess. I knew a guy almost blew his fucking eyeball out, but.
Well, I remember seeing the guy that used to I think it was Jason Pierre-Paul. He used to play football for the Giants, Super Bowl champ and everything. Was lighting fireworks in his home in Florida. Blew 2 or 3 of his fingers off.
Career over, right?
No, he played.
Well,
he had a cast on with you could see these couple fingers and then stubs of the other ones that's gone.
Oh wow.
But yeah, blue. I mean, I can't believe they even showed that image. First of all, it looked horrible.
I'm sure.
It looked like a fucking M80. He just held an M80 in his hand and just said, "I'm gonna see how long I can go."
Y'all shoot off any fireworks yourselves? Y'all get into that? The kids, anybody?
Like I said, we used to, but I mean, I'm not. I mean, I used to buy fireworks, and as a kid, I loved it. And then when I had kids, of course. But then, like I said, as you find self-knowledge, and then you're going to educate your kids, that shit you kind of stray away from. Like, I might take them to go see some, but I'm not going to buy some and do all that extra shit like I used to.
I normally don't really get into it, especially when I was doing it professionally, but, man, I've just really been wanting to blow some shit up, so... But, I don't have no place to do it. I live in an apartment complex. Ain't nobody going to stand for that shit over there, at least not where I live. I'm not going to just go walk around the neighborhood doing that shit, so.
Right.
Whatever. Let's see here. What else we got on the docket? Past all this tragedy, is there more tragedy?
No, but we gotta stay local real quick.
Yes, please, brother.
So, today, or maybe it was yesterday, one or the other, Des Moines Public School announced that they're going to reopen.
Oh, yeah.
And they have this strategy that has me having a lot of questions about it. Kindergarten through 8th grade will attend twice a week in person in school. Have to wear masks all day.
Twice a week?
Twice a week.
What the hell is the point of that?
The other 3 will be spent virtual learning at home. High school will go one day a week, and the other 4 days will be virtual learning.
Oh, God. Grab your purse bags. It's going to be dangerous in the city. All these teenagers running around loose.
So, my thing about that is, okay, fine. If that's what you want to do, fine. But here's some concerns I have. One, what are you going to do with those families who actually depend on schools as a form of daycare for their kids while they're at work, that they depend on them to provide them breakfast and lunch and stuff like that.
These jobs have made them come back to work already.
Right.
They're stressing as it is.
So if they're at work and their kids are at home by themselves, like mine would be, who's going to make sure that they're eating, number one? And number two, if something was to happen to where technological wise, let's say the system that they're using crashed, they're not going to know how to get that stuff back up.
Well, and what's their incentive anyways, especially if it's some kid left to their own demise, to sit around their own device, whatever the phrase is there. But how is that going to, their system goes down like, well, I guess I got the day off.
Right,
Let alone hoping the parents themselves have the wherewithal to to be watching what the kids doing, let alone doing tech support.
Come on. We was in school. You know damn well if we was at home working and our shit went down, we're not gonna break our neck to try to reach out to somebody to try to say, hey, this is what happened. We're gonna be like, oh well, fuck, I guess we got the day off.
I realize all parents aren't the same, but I know getting my dad to sign a damn piece of paper sometimes was a challenge. Now I bring home a computer and got all this online learning, and then I'm gone half of the time as well, so he's got to balance his schedule out to try to not work 40 hours at the grocery store, but still get paid for 40 hours at the grocery. Like, it just doesn't, it's not possible.
I just have, and most Des Moines public schools are, depending on the grade level, is overcrowded. You know what I mean? So, like, how are you going to create the amicable space for these kids to be able to have their bubble and feel, you know, safe, and keep the distance and have all these kids, you know, you're gonna, it's like most of the elementary schools already have like 2 or 3 4th or 5th grade classes and shit like that. So I mean, this is what Des Moines Public Schools is doing, and I just have a lot of questions about it. I mean, if this is the wave, if this is the way we have to go, I mean, fine. But I just didn't think that they took parents into consideration, because there's a lot of parents, like I said, who work. There's a lot of single family households, you know, where the mom is just running the show, or just the dad or the grandmother, you know, and they have to work all day. Some parents don't get home till like 5, 6 o'clock, and you have to leave your child at home.
Again, my dad worked till 10 o'clock. Shit.
Exactly, 3-4 days a week by themselves, because you have to go work. And have to, like, that just, I don't agree with that, Brother Black. You got your son. I mean,
is your son in school yet?
Yeah, he's in kindergarten right now, so he'll be going back to 1st grade. So, yeah, I had a lot of questions my damn self. Really, the same questions he had, because ultimately, with 1 day a week or 2 days a week, what you gonna do about the other 3? And then, you know what I'm saying?
Right, is he supposed to come home with a laptop?
You know what I'm saying? Supposedly, that's what you can only assume, because they sent them home with laptops before this year was over.
Right.
So they're going to do the same thing.
Right.
You're going to have the laptops at home primarily. You might have to bring them in when you come to maybe do something.
No, I don't think that. You won't bring them in. You'll keep them at home. They're going to provide them with the laptop and the wireless internet piece, so that for the people who don't have internet access at home. So they'll do that, and I believe, like you said, they'll send them home with that. And I don't think they're going to have to bring that to the classroom. But still, like you said, it just doesn't make sense.
And like he's got older kids. Mine is a like I said, kindergarten. You think having them in the classroom and they not finna be around their friends, or not finna want to sit next to somebody, don't give a damn about being in no damn coronavirus.
They don't know enough to give a damn about it.
Exactly.
You know?
All they know is they back in school finally around their friends.
Their little homies, everybody's excited.
So I'm interested to see how they gonna do this shit, because it all sounds kind of dumb, but I won't be the negative Nancy or Debbie Downer.
No,
can you imagine trying to get a bunch of 1st graders to stand 6 feet apart?
Oh my! 1st graders, kindergartners.
Bro, how fucking high schoolers won't do this shit. Grown ass adults won't do this shit. So.
Yeah.
Oh Lordy!
On Facebook myself.
I mean, look at us. But this is just a technicality. We're doing this for the SquadKast. But generally speaking, we ain't huddled up and shit. You know.
Right. You know. Yeah. I didn't even think about that aspect of it that Brother Black just said. The overall excitement of the children to see each other. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna be social distancing. What's that?
You can do all the talking to.
Motherfuckers ain't seen them kids. They ain't seen
them since March. Since March, 13th or 15th, whatever that Friday was, that last before spring break, that's the last time they probably seen their peers, their schoolmates. So
and I bet you, at least I haven't heard yet, any comment made about the teachers here, because obviously you don't necessarily need all your teachers if you're only having kids come in on rotations. You certainly maybe don't need all the same amount of teachers.
Right.
So I'm really curious as to how that's supposed to play out, how that's going to impact. I'm willing to bet, gentlemen. I'm willing to bet the next move is Kim Reynolds is going to move to slash school budget, specifically teacher's salary.
That's what I was going to say.
And try to justify that, well, you're not needed, or that just whatever it might be. They're going to do exactly what they've been wanting to do or get away with this whole time, man. So it's going to be horrible.
It's going to be horrible.
You mentioned your girl Kim Reynolds. Did you hear about her hitting some protesters?
Oh, with the whip? Yeah. Oh, gosh. Come on.
Just contradicts everything you were saying,
right?
Right.
Yep.
Fuck out of here.
Just looks horrible. Can't believe it.
Ironically, supporting also the removal of, not supporting Medicare for all simultaneously. You know, just interesting. Put you in the hospital, don't want to do nothing about the bills. So
nothing.
Ah, smoke. So again, some more tragedy.
So we got rest in peace, Sir William, and rest in peace to Des Moines Public School, because y'all are literally dying right now. Y'all are.
What the fuck happened? I remember Iowa used to be the basis for all nations.
like we
States,
said
school
before.
system. Iowa's basic test was.
We had to take the Iowa test of
The
basic skills
IBCCG,
in
whatever
Chicago.
Like,
That
in
determined
Chicago.
if we would go to the next grade level.
Like, they ranked Iowa that high. Like, what the fuck?
So when you didn't know about Crispus Attucks and we looked at you like,
Right, that shit
wait
had
a
me
minute,
fucked up.
you didn't know about that, brother?
Never even knew. Now, I mean, I could get it if I had only. You would have thought, like, in high school, at least I would have heard of it. Like, it would have just came up like, quick reminder. It started with this dude.
Right. But
Man.
this brings me to my next point, though. In regards to that, that also lets me know that they do not teach, if they do at all, anything about Black history in school.
Right.
And I know that for a fact because when my kids will come home, my daughter's going to be 10, my son's 12. So they're
Brother,
up there.
you know what they do to us, man.
And I have to ask them, like, do they teach y'all anything about Black history? Well, you know, the typical Martin Luther King,
Yeah, the ones
Malcolm
they murdered.
X.
The
But I
ones they
said-
murdered, what kind of shit is that?
I said, but what about Marcus Garvey and, you know, Frederick Douglass and all these people? Like, who? They was like, who? And I was like, oh, my gosh.
It's so far from there. I remember when I was in school, you know, it was a long time ago, like 3rd and 4th grade, we had a whole Black history,
We used to have assemblies. We used to have Black
history.
history.
Yeah.
And give a whole biography on. I
Yeah.
think I did Daniel Hill Williams and had to give the open heart surgery speech.
Nat
and
Nat
all that,
Turner.
like, they
Nat
don't do
King
none of that
Cole.
shit. I don't remember them doing that shit at Meredith or no shit like that, or you know what I'm saying? Just
Man.
going forward. I don't. Do they ever come back saying we did this assembly or something?
Bro, my
Right.
kids have never came home and said, 1, that they had an assembly, 2, that it was strictly about African Americans, and 3, they have never came home and said that they've learned anything about African Americans outside of 1, Malcolm X, 2, Martin Luther King Jr.
They took that shit
Ask
a
any
long time
teenager
ago.
they know anything about Jim Crow laws, and just they'll be like, "What's that, a book or something?" Or I mean, they don't know anything. They don't teach these kids anything on purpose. Obviously, you know.
Clearly.
You don't know what you don't know, and you can't use what you don't know.
So as a result of that, once I realized that was going on, and then obviously with the kids being at home with me due to coronavirus, I would take an index card, right?
Yep.
And I would write down a name. So, you know, it could be like Nat Turner or, you know, Colin Powell or somebody, right? And I would give them to my kids, and I would have 5 questions. You know, when were they born? Where were they from? How did they get prominent? Shit like that.
Right. Yep.
And had them research it, answer it, and give it back to me. And,
Right.
and you know, like, this shit got to start at
Just
home.
gotta know minimum. You need to know how to look this shit.
Got to
up,
start
you
at
know.
home.
If
Because
they
evidently the
convince
schools
you
ain't
it's
doing
not
it.
there, then you know a lot of people don't even know to go looking for this information.
Exactly.
I remember when I used to go to the library just down the street when I lived in these little apartments, Franklin Court. When I was a kid, I found out that they had the magazine archives. Bro, I used to just pull all kinds of old ass magazines up and just thumb through them. Like, what's this? Like, this information is needed. Like, you need some sort of context to reference your decisions, and you're definitely not going to get all that in high school these days.
Bro, I hated history. That was not like a
That's the
subject
shit.
that I wanted to.
Any of that shit.
But it still always intrigued me though. Like I hated it, but it
Right.
wasn't like I just put it to the wayside. I still would look shit up and still do my research and shit like that. Like you still gotta self-educate, man.
Right.
And educate your peers, your children, to make sure that they have knowledge of self and others before them, because clearly the schools are not doing that part,
Well,
if anything.
that actually makes me want to transition here, if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Because if anything, your work as a father, seemingly is paying off.
Trying.
Your son himself has gone out and started a clothing line.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd like to have you talk about it, give some information, let people know what's available,
Oh, I appreciate
and how they
you,
can
brother.
acquire this, man. So, but like I said, this is why it's important to make sure you are making sure your children are educated properly, because high school is definitely not gonna fill in the gaps. They're just not gonna do it. So
My oldest son, he's in high school. video gamer. He works, you know, and shit like that. And me and him had talked several times about how to capitalize off of his entertainment. And, you know, like, you've invested so much money into this. You've given these people so much of your thousands of your dollars for entertainment, because that's what it is. But now it's time to put some of that money back in your pockets.
Right.
So I kind of was gauging his mind, like, you know, would you start like a little little merchandise line, you know, T-shirts, hoodies, or something like that? He said, oh, maybe, you know, that'd be cool. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be dope if you had like a streamer wearing your shirts while they're streaming or something like that, like a ninja or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's hoping for the ultimate best, but you know,
right, yeah.
Period, right? Everybody.
You gotta have big goals, right? For sure.
Gotta have dreams, right? So he says, cool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, I'm like, fuck it. We about to make this shit happen. I wake up for work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I start my shift at 4. So in between then, I'm literally at my desk sketching the logo out. Take a picture of it, send it to my guy, and said, make this come to life for me. And he did. And this is the end result. You know, we're saying we got Sweat Life apparel. Shout out to my son,
Nice.
Kate and Daniel.
Nice.
We got red shirts right now. We got black shirts coming, and a couple more others coming. You know, $15 a pop, man. We're not trying to break the bank, but I mean, obviously, that's about the common price for shirts fair. Going around. Right. You know, 15.
If not coming in under a little bit, so.
I mean, he's in high school, learning to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And I appreciate that young man. I appreciate my son not only manning up and getting a real job, but taking that and thinking outside the box, even with help from his old man, of course, and his mom too, because, you know, she's an influence on him as well. So, I mean, you know, all it takes is an idea. You know, an idea can turn into this,
right.
and this can turn to something else.
Right.
You know, so if you guys want a shirt, you know, anything like that, look me up on Facebook. At djdacapo on all my social media.
You can DM SquadKast directly.
DM SquadKast on IG, Twitter directly. And, you know, I'll pull up on you. I'll ship it out to you, whatever I got to do to make sure you get it. And these shirts are nice and sterile, so you don't have to worry about the Rona.
That's what's up.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, giving me that moment to share that, because that's actually pretty big, man. And like I said, I commend him to be so young, to be so open-minded about, you know, starting something, you know, stepping out of his box, because he's a very reserved young man, you know, and for him to want to do something like that, and I know that's not really him, I'm very proud of him. So, Caden, if you're watching this, I'm proud of you.
Shout out to
I
you.
love you, bro. And you already got me as a brand ambassador and everything.
Oh,
right.
Brother Black talking about his back end shit. We don't know about. We need COD, cash on delivery. We ain't got no models right now. My kids are the models.
And me, motherfucker, don't forget about me.
Black talking about I got stock options. Once we get 10,000 units. Once we get 10,000 units.
It's slowing to fog my glasses up. Fucking around.
I get ownership, so. No, but that's what's up, man. Nah, and obviously that's why we started this, man. You know, you got to just build on your ideals, man.
Exactly.
And ultimately, you realize that no one's gonna do this shit for you, man.
Where the fuck did SquadKast come from? It came from an idea.
Right. We just talked about it,
and we made it happen.
We put it down.
You know.
Let's see what else we got here today.
You want to go national?
I think we need to go national.
We gotta go. Let's talk about your president that you voted for.
First of all,
he took his MAGA hat off before he got on camera.
First of all.
But no, let's get serious though. This man is the epitome of a piece of shit. This brother, I mean, we all know what I'm talking about. He's a fucking racist. For sure. Did you see what he said about Black Lives Matter?
Oh yeah.
Like, before it goes back to the way it was or some shit.
No, brother Chef, and fill him in on what he said about Black Lives Matter, and then I can go in on the rest.
Well, I think you're talking about he's calling it a terrorist organization.
He basically
said that a while back ago.
No, this is recently again after he retweeted a white supremacist tweet, and then tried to delete that.
Some old rich white people down in Florida battling it out, to, who's more righteous, and you have these assholes cruising down the street in golf carts in some little gated community, and wonders on the streets are these old white people who are against this racist shit, and they're shouting at them, calling them racist and whatnot.
Right.
And the people in the golf cart got like Trump signs and shit, and they're yelling white power and go Trump. Trump tweeted that.
Of course.
Like a classy man.
Of course.
Like a president of a fucking country should
like
do.
a true American.
Jesus fucking Christ, right. So, bro.
So he's just, he's got that. He shitted on the Black Lives Matter movement. He basically called it a terrorist group. And then like your brother Black said, it's not the first time. But it's just like, brother, you would think with you coming up for re-election and you're already down in the polls, the old mumbling Joe Biden, you need to shut the fuck up. But then the bounty shit happens where Russia putting bounty on American soldiers. He gets briefed on it, but then says, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about. Well, I mean, let's be fair. That's not a surprise.
Is it really?
Says I don't know. I don't understand it. I'd be like, well,
yes,
I'm going to take his word for it.
Surprise.
That's a surprise. No,
yes,
not at all.
Boy,
I don't know there's any failing.
Like they used to do them other motherfuckers and blindfold their ass and just take his ass out.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck out of here.
I don't know if there's anything Trump could do that can surprise at this point. He's so fucking nuts and out of control that the guy, like everything he does, will be like, yeah, that seems about par for the course right there. Like, hopefully come November, we do something about this bullshit. But I mean, what do you think about a third-party option? Maybe not, obviously, realistically this time around.
With our own third.
But is it possible? That is a big argument right now in politics, is about, can you bring like 2 or 3 million people together in a third-party group to, at a minimum, gain some actual seats in the different branches of government, so they can at least be assholes and stymie shit when it's necessary. But then eventually, maybe even get a third party, an alternate party in the White House. Is it possible?
Do you want to go, brother Black? Chefin? I mean, who wants to go first on that?
Right.
Go ahead, brother Black.
Yeah, please.
I would say, I feel the whole third party. I feel like we should have our own party in there. Fuck a random third party, a party just for us.
The Black Party?
Yeah.
Well, then that's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's not.
You saying it's not gonna? I mean, I don't mean to just break it down for just us, but it's just like how I was saying as far as with us coming together. We need an actual spokesperson that will speak on behalf of us and actually have our back. The motherfuckers up there ain't shit for us, bro.
Well, and that's where the problem lies, because I said this before. We don't have a spokesperson for us. Remember I said this podcast ago, I said, where's our leaders at now? We don't have no Malcolm X's, no Martin Luther Kings, no Nat Turners, none of that shit. What we have is older elder statesmen, the older Jesse Jacksons, who's not really
relevant,
active like that. We have the older snitch Al Sharpton, who only shows up after shit happens.
After shit happens.
We have one of the most respected military generals of all time, Colin Powell, who just doesn't want to put himself out there like that in the political world. So it's just like,
clearly, I mean,
we don't have any representation right now.
So, but the question is, well, at least I would think the additional question is on that would be then, can we get away with that now? Because thinking about all the progress that these classic Black leaders that you're referring to made on individual basis throughout the span of history, at least in American politics, or American society, whatever you want to say. But are there too many people now? There's too many options now. The difference, I think, before 100 years ago, even between 100 years ago and today, is that everyone is so dependent on the system. There's no, well, I just have this land and I'll go fishing and I'll kill something and I'll make something that's gonna get me through. I can build my own shelter. I can just survive indefinitely, essentially on my own, to the best of my abilities. Whereas, generally
Shout
speaking,
out to the mountain men.
But it doesn't. If I lose my job and I don't find another job within a very short amount of time, I'm done. Like, I'm toast. I lose everything. I got to go back to square one.
I'm in the same boat, brother.
And I hope that someone is really going to look out for me. But
look, I don't know how to live off. I can't live off the fucking land. I can't go out. Look, can I go out here and go shoot a deer or something? Yeah, but I can't skin it and gut it. I don't know how to do none of that shit, man.
They don't teach you how to do that stuff. They don't teach you how to build shelters.
Otherwise, you don't lose all your meat if you shoot them in the wrong spot.
See, right.
Yep. Exactly.
So I think the leaders that worked then might not work now because everyone was able to, or had a lot less to throw away, to lose, right? Because they could just easily go back to the basics and just figure out how to survive in the worst of conditions. Whereas now, like, I mean, in America, 30 days and you lose everything. You're on the streets, there's every piece of land basically is owned and private. You can't just go out to the forest and get stuff that you want, even if you knew how to do that on a legal basis, on a long-term basis like that. So the system is. But I think what you need is several or multiple leaders. You don't need a leader to talk up for. You need
let me be clear. I never said. I don't think we need one supreme leader in the black community.
For sure.
And to be fair, I was only using the older leaders as an example of what we don't have now, which I'm just basically saying we just don't have representation. Everybody is about self, like we've always been saying. Like we have, like it's crazy, and I don't even want to say this is a bad thing, but people, who's an activist right now? Who people look at as an activist right now? T.I. He is considered Rubber Band Man himself. He is actually considered an activist.
And there's no way. And I'm
not trying to take nothing away from T.I. I'm just using him as an example of what today's society, our youth, that's what their vision of an activist is.
This view's fucked, man, because their vision is that somehow, magically, with enough progress and motivation and tools, that we could be just like them. When we already fucking know that most of the wealth generated in this country is inherited. Most people who are rich, they did not work hard and just eventually figured it out. That's not how money works in the United
Henry
States.
Fords, the Vanguards, and all that shit is inherited generational work.
So they preach this false prosperity perspective or narrative about, we just got to get, you guys a little bit of training and get you jobs and get you education, basically get you deeper and deeper into this more and more. But it's a fallacy. At some point, you're going to reach capacity where either there's no more space for people to succeed because all the money's gobbled up. You did succeed very well, but the system can't support everyone being rich, because inherently a capitalist society like this absolutely relies on low-income poor people to be absolutely stressed out about the work they do, so that they have to work.
Brother
which means
Black
that you can force them to work for
time.
less money, for less benefits,
Didn't
unsafe
you not just talk about
conditions,
this recently?
and with zero certainty.
Did we not just talk about this recently, brother?
Motherfuckers.
Brother Black talks about this all the time. Go in.
Man. Boy. I mean, shit, I just feel like, okay. Like how we talk about all this whole Black Lives Matter movement and how they was donating all this money and all this shit.
Right.
Okay. Wells Fargo donate money.
Right.
Or institutions donating money.
A lot of companies are supposedly donating money right now.
Okay, so it's all about Black Lives Matter. So then riddle me this, Batman.
Shoot.
Okay, so y'all doing all this donating, but where's the, like I keep saying, action? When that black man go apply for that job or that position and he don't get it, or says Becky or Karen gets it and he's got more education than her, or, you know what I'm saying, a higher education, or she doesn't even have half the education that he has, but yet he don't get it because whatever said credentials or whatever he did.
Oh, brother, I'm a prime prime example of that. I applied for a job in the same financial institution I'm at, in a department that I was already in before, so I know the business line and everything. Doing the same thing that I'm doing now that I've been doing for over 4 years. So not only do I have the previous knowledge that I was there for 2 years, and I've already got the experience that you want right now doing the job for 4+ years. And I couldn't even get, I got a phone interview and didn't even get a face-to-face. And then I got an email saying that we hired somebody who was more qualified. And I looked at that like, are you kidding me?
What was it, fucking Superman?
Like, are you, like, wait, how do you get more qualified than a person who was already in the business, knows the business line, succeeded in the business line, and then has all the other shit that you're asking for? And I just, said, fuck it.
So my only argument is to that whole Black Lives Matter movement, and you guys are really showing action. Show me some receipts of motherfuckers that have applied for these said positions of people in color, and these motherfuckers. Let me see your record of advancement with people of color in your department.
I want to see where the money is going. Like, you
too.
donate all this money, but where is it going? What are y'all doing with these funds? That's all I want to know.
It's a good point you brought up, Black, because I got a buddy who works for one of those gambling websites, and he says that at one of their big company meetings, they made this big show of being all racially diverse and whatnot, and he stood up and asked them, well, with that in mind, can you give me the racial makeup of your board and your VPs and everything? And they were like, nah, we're still working on that.
They don't have
because they don't have the same thing with where the fuck we work at. They go send out an email saying, oh, we got to have a more diverse board of directors and more diverse leadership and VPs and executive VPs. Yeah, okay.
Let me give you this one here. Now, this is another place, and I can't say who works there, but I am privy to this information.
Right.
And they are attempting to ride this wave of social justice as front leaders, but at the same time trying to get everyone to sign arbitrary agreements about if we feel, essentially, if they aren't following these civil rights laws and treating us justly, that we're going to forfeit our rights, or their rights, excuse me, and basically take our chances in an arbitrary, whatever you want to call it, arbitration, excuse me. Like, wait a minute, if you're so high and mighty, how is it that you also want me to sign away my rights in case you happen to not be so high and mighty? I mean their rights, excuse me.
Come on, man. Like,
it's just an insane proposition, and I'm not falling for it. I mean, I'd be thinking like, did you see who you hired? Do you have idiots that you think work for you and they can't read? And it's just such a weird Jedi mind trick that these corporations try to play. Even Hy-Vee, after they got accused of all the racist stuff, put up basically "we're not racist" signs everywhere.
How I said here in the Midwest, like, it's like subtle, "fuck you, nigga," or "we don't fuck with you, nigga." But like,
brother, can we refrain from using
I'm sorry.
But that's what they be saying. That's what they be saying.
Well, no, they use the ER, the hard ER.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like these past couple weeks, even though we already knew that, but it's like a furthermore stamp of like letting you know like that they don't fuck with motherfuckers with all the shit that they got going on. From the Biomat USA situation with her having her mask on and said Black Lives Matter, and them telling her it was offensive, to the Hy-Vee situation.
Well, there was an incident.
Well, the Hy-Vee one is kind of weird. I mean, if the girl was on the clock, I don't know.
Well,
go clock off. Go clock off.
But
this is that shit where you got to decide at some point, do you sacrifice it all for the sake of
Well, what about the Taco Bell employees who was fired for wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt?
Yeah, that is some bullshit. I don't even. How close are you to everybody, anyways? That people are seeing this and it's a problem.
And then
stick it for your employees.
There was another incident. Not really. It was probably like a block or two away from my house, where we go call her Karen. A Karen walked up to a house that had a Black Lives Matter sign in the front yard. Black husband, Caucasian wife, so biracial marriage, kids, and all that.
Classic.
And the Karen comes over there and was like offended about the sign. Now, mind you, she's wasted and she has a alcoholic beverage in her hand. She goes knocking on these people's door, and they have it all on video. They're trying to educate the woman, like, no, Black Lives Matter, and she's like, no, all lives matter, and all this other shit. And now, before it could escalate, they're asking the woman to leave. She's refusing to leave. She's refusing to leave off of their property. So, of course, the police gets called. And the Karen, you know, had some choice words as she was drunkenly walking away, not realizing that her ass about to go to the can. You didn't trespass. You got an open container, public intox. Clyde PD came and scooped her ass up, and she was gone. And then the arresting officer came back to the family's house and apologized for what's going on and shit like that. But I bring this up because, one, everything that happens to black people, to me, always hits close to home. But in a literal sense, this hit close to home because this is 2 blocks away from my house. I literally drive past this house every day.
You just know that someone who feels like that's right there in the neighborhood.
So, exactly. Somebody right across the street from you that you probably done waved at and probably had general cordial conversation with every day. Now you see who they really are. And then you say, like they say, what they say, alcoholic never lie or drunk never lie or some shit like that.
That truth comes right out of them.
There you go.
For sure. Which is why I don't drink, actually. So. For that reason alone. Can't trust myself.
Shout out to Lake Time Brewery. Peanut butter porter.
Right.
No.
Well, obviously we can go on and on about this
really
type of crazy shit.
We could. There's just so much crazy shit that's going on.
Right.
We just don't have enough hours in the day. We don't have enough chargers to support all the electronics and shit that we need to really go in like we really want to and really need to for you guys. I mean,
so that brings me to my final point as we're approaching the end here. Is that the need to find some sort of peace in all of this. Whatever that is, whether that's a fucking nap 30 minutes a day in a closet where no one can find you, or you rolling a big one and you taking a cruise and minding your goddamn P's and Q's, or, do something like I'm finna do and go camping, Get out there, experience some nature, and get away from all of this shit. Whatever it is, you better find something, because this world will eat you alive.
It will.
If you let it. So,
especially right now, with everything that's going on, this pandemic, the civil rights movement that's going on, just everything, like, you gotta find some kind of common ground, some kind of me time, relaxed time for you to be able to escape this crazy ass world that we're in for, like you said, even if it's just 30 minutes, so you can get your bearings together, and then come back out and try to take on this crazy ass world that we living in. You know what I mean? It's sad, man. Like, I think about you guys all the time. I think about the kids. I think about the youth, and it's just something that I'm always stressing about, because I just want to see things get better, and I don't know if that'll happen.
Right. If not soon. Black, what you do to stay relaxed?
You don't want that.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. We don't want to get banned.
Man, I just be cool, and really, if I'm not working, I'll just try and spend time with my son and just talk shit with the fellas for the most part.
Yep.
And stay out the way.
At this point, man, like I said before, at this point in my life or our lives, if we're not building, branding, and making sure that we have some form of generational wealth for our kids and shit, then what is it? What are we really doing?
That's all I've been thinking about as of lately, is how to let go of this damn government ass job or corporate job so I can start working for my damn self. Ultimately, I'm tired of this shit. Shit's gotta stop, and the pandemic really make you enforce some shit like, boy, you gotta get it together, tighten up, my boy.
Let's start our own bank, man. But we'll rip off people less than regular banks.
Oh, shout out, you said banks. Shout out Bo Jackson, former NFL football player, former Major League Baseball player. He is the owner and president of his own black bank.
Oh, nice.
He's been the president and owner of his bank for some years now.
Yeah, there's a few black banks out there.
And I only know that because I seen the documentary on him, and that was one of the things that they talked about that I never knew. So, black banks do exist out there. Look it up.
Buddy had a movie. Buddy from he's a Nighthawk from Avengers.
I know you're talking about.
Michael B. Jordan.
No. The other guy.
Oh, the white dude.
No, the other.
B-Rabbit. I mean, not B-Rabbit. what was Papa Doc?
Yeah, Papa Doc from 8 Mile.
Yeah, he basically plays the movie.
He plays Falcon.
Yeah.
And with X-Men, Iron Man.
Yeah, the Avengers and all that.
No, that's Don Cheadle. My bad. That's Don Cheadle.
Wait, no, Don Cheadle plays his sidekick.
Right,
War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine. Yeah. Okay.
Clearly, we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Right. We're all over the place. Too many comics, man.
Marvel fanatics gonna have a field day on our ass in the comics section.
So we don't want to disrespect the Marvel or DC people. Show mercy on us.
Right, please. So,
But no,
But that's the movie that they came out with. Basically, it was like back in the day, but it was basically a true story about when we had opened up our first black bank.
Oh, and how they did it?
Yeah.
Because they had to have the white guy as the face of the bank.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm gonna have to find that because I need to watch.
And they tried to even sue them for fraud or something like that at one point.
And he also made a point about how Black Panther was the only set that was predominantly, if not all, black. And he said, well, why is Black Panther the only movie that's like that? So he kind of was like offended by that, you know what I mean? Which I could kind of see his point, because now you done made a movie about a black superhero, so now everything's just black. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a funny YouTube channel out there. I think it's DRC World. I think that's what it's called. And there's some young brothers who do skits and shit. And some of the funniest shit they do is black superheroes that were left out of the Marvel videos. Oh, bro, it's just a bunch of salty superheroes. Like, why the fuck they ain't make my movie yet? So
yeah,
that story don't even make sense without me. So look that shit up. I'll put a link to that up here too. It's definitely, they got a whole bunch of shit. They do anime riffs and shit like that too. I'm not even into anime, but that shit's hilarious. So, any parting words, gentlemen, before we go ahead and wrap this one up?
Just want to say, stay safe out there. Keep educating yourself. Make sure that you are doing your best to not spread this virus. Don't be out clubbing. Don't be out partying. Keep your circle.
Get the fuck off the streets, man.
Keep your circle about 3 to 5 people, if that. And that's it, man. Don't be the type of person that's gonna add negative shit. All right, we need more positivity going on right now.
Word.
Yeah.
How about you, Black?
Fuck with all that. Go enjoy yourself. You want to go out, have fun, go to the club.
Speaking of, can you put your mask back on? You just giving up? Like,
See what I mean?
Right at the end.
I've been to a couple of the clubs. Not really nothing to brag about, but I went to a couple of them. Didn't really see much of shit, but it was motherfuckers. They've been out there. I'll say that,
brother. You know damn well you seen the pictures and videos of the snaps and all the shit that's going on at the Big Earls. I haven't seen Big Earls. Bro, when they have the after parties and shit, they be at Big Earls. Parking lot full. I'm talking about hundreds of people.
Yeah. I definitely ain't going to the strip club during COVID.
When the incident happened involving who I don't even want to say his name, it was reported 500 people there in that one spot.
Jesus Christ.
So like, I don't want to hear nothing about. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some people in there that got that shit. There's no way.
Herman Cain just got that shit. Funny enough.
That's why I just don't understand it. Like, y'all go be that jam packed in a place where you can possibly get something just by walking into a person's breathing. You don't. I mean, this is I don't even know if it's an airborne type thing. Nobody knows how you can get it.
I hear you, brother, but we can't put restraints on everybody's not going. Like we've been saying.
Yeah, but going to the bar ain't not going to the bar ain't a damn restraint.
Exactly,
I feel you,
man.
but everybody's not going, bro. I don't have a problem with staying my ass in the crib. I just wanted to pop out, go see what the fuck was going on.
But I'm not talking about you.
That just cannot stay their ass in the house. They just gotta
I get that. We talked about that, but what I'm saying is that in order for us to try to quote unquote flatten this curve and try to knock some of this shit down, you have to have some kind of self-restraint. You can't have the urge to want to go fucking clubbing, going partying, where you gonna be around 2, 3, 4, 500 people, and not think that you're not gonna get something, or infect somebody else. Like I said, I feel different because my grandmother had coronavirus, so that's why I probably feel the way I feel, because I had somebody close to me affected by that shit. So until you have somebody affected by that shit that's close to you, you probably don't know why I feel the way I feel. But I just want y'all to do better. If you go party, dude, just be responsible. Don't be in no place with 400 or 500 fucking people. Just be responsible. That's all I'm saying.
Man, get out into that water, man. Get yourself a sport umbrella. Get a little bit of fishing in, okay? Hang out, do some grilling, drink, call it a day. If you're lucky, you'll catch a fish. Oh, I'm happy to report, gentlemen, I have caught fish number 2 for the year.
Hey,
fish number 2.
Golf
I
clap.
can survive. No, I can survive now. I'm basically a wilderness man at this point.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't need the system.
So
Right.
I could submit your profile to Mountain Men to have you on the show.
right.
You know,
Do that the Learning Channel all alone or alone, whatever the fuck it's called. I'm good. I'm ready to survive, brother. 2 fish a year, easy.
You fuck.
Well, hey, the spook god fed people with how many fish and loaves of bread? He fed thousands of people. The spook god that you worship.
The spook.
You know his name, the one that everybody called on that ain't showed up ever.
Smiles so
Jay
creepy
Boogie.
with this mask on.
Jay
Look at
Boogie.
it is
Jay Boogie himself.
All right. Well, I think the point is, just like Brother DJ says, stay safe, make good decisions.
We're gonna exile Brother Black.
You right. We finna Black. You finna be remote in, okay? Just shut up. God damn. But no, seriously, everybody be safe out there.
Yeah, man, for real.
This has been yet another episode
Another
of the
one.
SquadKast podcast. Appreciate you tuning in, you're subscribing, your views. Share this shit.
Share.
Get
like,
out there, comment, all that.
We appreciate our subscribers. We jumped up to like 58, almost 60. So we're gaining. We're
Right,
gaining.
yeah,
Y'all
we're getting
slowly,
it. We're and actually
slowly but
viewership
surely.
time, all that's up. But you know,
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but it says it's up. So
Hey,
I'm taking it.
We'll
I'm taking it.
We all y'all stay safe. Man.
All right, y'all. Deuces.
Mm.